There are different categories of behavioral issues, and the most commonly heard ones are autism. So, autism is a social disorder, it's a social dysfunction that you see in a child. So, they may have their intellect intact, and this is a common misconception that children with autism may not be able to are not intellectually, or they are intellectually impaired, they're intellectually impaired, but that's not the case. Their intellect can be amazing, they can be geniuses, but their only issue is social dysfunction. They don't know how to handle social setup, they don't know how to handle social interaction. Then there is Down syndrome. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder where the chromosomes are affected, and what the most common features that you see in Down syndrome is their physical appearance. So they have mongoloid features, they have a large forehead, and they have a thick tongue that generally protrudes, and they also have web feet. They also tend to be slightly short, and they don't grow as in the normal as according to normal children. They are generally a lot shorter, and they have core issues of stubbornness, and their rate of learning is a lot slower as compared to the mainstream kids. Then you have children with ADD, that is called the attention deficiency disorder, where you have a child who is not able to focus on anything for too long. For us it comes very naturally, but for them it is a challenge, and it's very easy for them to drift off. They get bored easily, they start dreaming. So that's what you see in ADD. And then you have ADHD, where you have attention deficiency hyperactivity disorder. So just like the previous one, they do have a problem with focusing on something, but also added to that, they have a lot of hyperactivity. They can't stay in one place. They're they're running around, they need to constantly be up to something. And they get bored easily. They need to run it out in order for any kind of for them to feel any sort of fatigue, and for them to feel fatigue is very, very rare, because that's how much of energy they have within them. And then you have learning disabilities. Learning disabilities, they are, it's actually a set of, there are different conditions under learning disabilities, but their intellect is completely intact. There is nothing wrong with them, there's no social deficiency, nothing. If you meet them, you think they're absolutely normal kids, and they are. It's just that certain times they find it difficult to perceive reading, which is called dyslexia. Then they can't, their nerves and the hand muscles don't match, and they don't get writing, they don't understand writing, although they can understand reading. So, but it's just the hand movements that don't cooperate, which is called agraphia. And the third most common form is acalculia, which is their inability to understand and comprehend numbers, or the concept between addition and subtraction. They just don't get it. So, and quite a few of the times they overlap. And then you have the slow learners who generally just have a learning lag. They don't, it's not like there's anything that you can totally pinpoint that anything is wrong with them. They just take a longer time understanding stuff that, mainstream kids find very easy to understand. So these are the general issues that come under behavioral issues. Apart from that, there's also conduct disorder, which is the progression of ADHD, and that you also see in children, and that you will see in their disruption in class. They disrupt the activities in class, they are always up to something. People commonly call them mischievous, because they do not like authority, they don't appreciate authority, and that leads to any form of bad behavior, as it's so commonly termed. parents bringing their children to a counseling center is one of the most positive steps that a parent can take. And it only means that you're ready to help your child and you've accepted it, which is a great thing. But what happens is many parents come with expectations, and this may not be favorable to your child. And it also puts a lot of pressure on the people working with your children, because they are going to work one-on-one with your kid and figure out what exactly is the strength of their kid. So coming with expectations becomes a little challenging. Then the other thing is, parents are very afraid to ask. They're very afraid to ask questions, and we encourage questions. We want any kind of myth dispelled, because there's a lot of information out there, and people say, oh, but I think they say this, and something like this is going to happen. And that creates a lot of fear, and it's sort of half-baked information, and somebody says, but I saw it here, but I saw something there, and it's very second-handed information, but it's good enough to create fear in a parent, which creates again a lot of turmoil within the child and within the progress of the child. So we obviously encourage any kind of question, whether is it okay if my child does this? Is it okay if my child is rocking? Or is it something bad? Is it okay if I'm giving? We don't deem any question stupid, because it's good to dispel myths. It's good to clarify things before you go ahead and do it. In our center, we have parents who bring us their kids who generally have some form of behavioral issue. We deal with autism, we deal with Down syndrome, attention deficiency and hyperactivity, also learning disabilities, and any other form of behavioral issues that one would generally see, but they're not necessarily categorized. And what we also see is different kinds of parents. Apart from the different kinds of kids, you have different kinds of parents. And they range from extremely cooperative to parents who, well, we find a certain amount of resistance or a large amount of resistance from them. And we find that quite a lot of this happens because many of the parents are in a state of denial. It's not that we blame them, but this is what we find, that many of them are in a state of denial, or actually what is more harming than anything is expectations. They may know theoretically what their child may have, and they may have gotten their child assessed from NIMHANS or any other hospital setting, and so it's sunk in theoretically that my child has autism or my child has Down syndrome, or it may not even be so complex. It may be as simple as learning disabilities, and or even just in general some form of slow learning where there is a certain learning lag that we find, but we can't really pinpoint exactly what it is. You just know that the child has some form of difficulty. So what we see is many of the parents already come with a set of expectations for their kids, and it kind of stops the progress, or it kind of hinders the process in which a child develops, because of those set time frames and the set expectations that the parents may have. And once in a while you're able to convince the parents that we understand that you have those kind of expectations, but we'll need to kind of work according to the child's needs and according to the strengths of the child, and slowly work towards getting to that goal of whatever kind of behavior, whatever kind of academic achievement, whatever kind of functioning that child is capable of. But then on the other hand, you have many parents who say, I want my kid to be the best, I want my kid to become normal. And in my experience personally, we have a few parents who have these expectations and who are in such a major state of denial that their kid does not have a problem, and that it is probably attitude, or it is probably stubbornness, and they hide themselves from the reality. And I think what happens is that they don't know the kind of effect that's having on the child, and that is inevitably stopping or holding back the child from the kind of person they're able to develop. The kind of potential that child is able to reach is what we find that these kind of expectations and this kind of denial is doing to that child. And us as people who see it, so who see the kids and see the kids for who they are, is it's relatively difficult. It's really difficult to see that why can't the parent see that the child is like this, or why can't the parent see that your kid is going through such a traumatizing stage, but also your kid wants to make you happy. And I think many parents, the minute they see that their child has some sort of disability, some sort of intellectual setback, or if it's a condition that's been put on paper, and then they see that, and then they go up and read on the net, and they'll come and tell they come and tell the counselors or the therapist, oh, but my child, and they start corresponding the symptoms and say, yes, we've read about it and stuff. And we're very happy that you're doing your bit and the parents are doing their bit in reading up and getting more information. But what happens is they also start forgetting that, the child is also capable of a certain level of thinking. The child is understanding. That the understanding bit is generally forgotten in a lot of parents. They probably underestimate. What we see most often is parents underestimate the abilities of their children. And in the process, they start doing things for their kids. They don't allow them to lift their bags. They don't allow them to eat by themselves. They don't want them to wander off, or they don't want them to experiment from stuff. And although, yes, we understand that, the parents are being cautious, the parents are keeping in mind that their kid has a setback. But what happens is, these are the normal things that we see in kids. These are actually the normal traits that you're actually seeing in kids with autism, with Down syndrome. And for them to go out and explore is only going to make them stronger individuals and stronger people. Many of the parents that we do come across, the minute they come to know that their child has some form of disability, they go and read up, and the first accessible source of information is the net. And what we see is that the net has the theory stuff, and it has certain set behaviors. But in reality, each manifestation, each way in which that symptom is portrayed is totally different in the child, because the child is different. They have their own spin on things. And what happens is, because they read up on so much and there's so much of information available on the net, is that it generates expectations within the parents. And the parents already come to the center with a premeditated idea of what exactly the institution or the center can bring out in their children. And they kind of think that this gives them a step-by-step process in which they will see these set improvements in their child, which is not how things actually work. The way we work is, we work with the strengths of the child. We see how the child is able to take on things, and they will take their own time and they will reach there. But the parents, they want things within that certain time frame. Many of them come up to us and ask, but why isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening at this time? You've been doing it for so long. And maybe you should try a different approach. and a lot of them come and advise us on how we should take on the case of their child. And that sort of becomes a challenge for us dealing with the parents, because if the parents are able to understand that we are working with the strengths of the child, then it becomes extremely easy for us, because we can tell the parents that if you do the same thing at home, then you will see a lot of results in your children. But a lot of the parents come with these things that, no, I know better because I have a child with special needs and you don't. And that they kind of feel isolated in the process, and they kind of think that I know my kid best, and I think whatever I'm doing at home is the best for my child. So trying to tackle that kind of mindset is quite challenging for us, because we know that we know the potential the child has to reach a certain goal, and then the home atmosphere being different and the center atmosphere being different, it becomes a little it's not a consistent atmosphere for the child to learn.